Additionally, he says George Stigler, who's best known for developing what we know as the economic theory of regulation, for which he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Economic Sciences in 1982, came to the conclusion that most public regulation lends itself to the misuse of such regulation by powerful industry players to their own benefit and to the exclusion and detriment of new entrants into the market. He coined this regulatory capture. How susceptible is the FSCA, if at all, to such regulatory seizure by the so-called usual suspects of the industry, given that the FSCA's revenue is drawn from the levies imposed on these companies?
We actually talked about this with Blazan in the last conversation. Apologies if I repeat myself. The levies model of funding regulators is actually a very well-established model across the globe. And its design is akin to the design of a tax. And therefore, it is not a negotiation with financial institutions, which perhaps is what would lend a regulator to potential capture. I don't sit with any large financial institution and negotiate with them what levy they pay in a particular year. This is defined in law, and that law is is obviously passed by publicly elected representatives of the people in parliament, and not me. So the application of that law for the funding of regulatory functions is not something that we go around with a begging bowl to large players or give them optionality that they can withhold resources because of their size. So I think it's quite important to make this point. And then the second issue is, of course, regardless of the design of the funding model, the FSCA is required and enjoined by the Financial Sector Regulation Act to perform its functions independently without fear, favor, or prejudice. And I can say with hand on my heart, as a professional regulator, that that is how I perform my functions, and that's what informs my decisions on small players, on medium-sized players, on large players. So there's absolutely no differentiation around potential capture. What exists, of course, the appreciation of the responsibility that we have as an independent regulator, and this applies across the board. I was in the sub for 10 years before I joined the FSCA. The appreciation by professional regulators of the need to be seen as and to be independent is actually quite well embedded in the financial sector regulation space in South Africa.